Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ottumwa City Council meeting. We do have a short Board of Health meeting tonight that will precede our council meeting. So if everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. They grabbed that curtain. Okay, we'll start with our Board of Health meeting, and Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Here.
Councilmember Basu. Councilmember Hoffman.
Here.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Here.
Councilmember Galloway.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Approve the minutes for meeting number 3 on September 5th, 2023 as presented. Recommendation, approve the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
This is the time, place, and date set to consider condemnation of the structures on the property located at 706 West 4th in the city of Ottumwa, Buffalo County, Iowa.
I'll go ahead and open the public hearing, and I believe Jake is going to present on this.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. The structure located at 706 West 4th was placarded February 21st of 2023. The property was placarded due to poor living conditions and life safety concerns. Since it was placarded, the house has caught fire on 2 separate occasions. There's been no attempt to repair the property before or after the fire, and there's no current repair plan or permission. Staff recommends condemning the property.
Does council have any questions for Jake?
This was the house that caught on fire recently, correct?
Yeah, one of the recent properties on 4th Street. It's burned pretty bad house.
Any other questions from council?
Will the structure be removed and all that kind of stuff?
Structure removed, leveled the lot, plant grass.
Okay, I'm good.
Yep.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Oh, thank you. Since this is a public hearing, I should have asked if anyone in the audience would like to speak on this particular issue. Okay, if not, somebody will want to.
So you first? Who's second, Valerie?
Yeah, lucky
Okay.
there, we got away
Thank
with
you.
it.
All right, so Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Condemn the structures located at 706 West 4th, order prompt demolition, removal, and leveling of the lot, and direct all costs attendant to such actions, including administrative costs, to be assessed against the property and or collected from the owner or owners thereof. Recommendation, approve the condemnation of the structures located at 706 West 4th.
With the recommendation.
Second. Any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
5:33.
Okay, now we'll move to our regular Ottumwa City Council meeting. And Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Basu. Councilmember Galloway.
Here.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Here.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Here.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. The next item is to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So
So moved.
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Yes.
The next item is to approve tonight's city council agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Any further discussion? Not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Yes.
The The next item is the city administrator's report to council and citizens. I'll turn it over to Phil Rath.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. We do not have Jessica tonight. She is working on transitioning over, but I do have a quick update from her in regards to audit. She's been working with the audit firm, trying to get all that wrapped up. They are tentatively looking to have a report for the next meeting on the 19th. I say tentative because there are still some things in flux, so that's the goal. If not, we'll look to extend that into April and have everything wrapped up for that for last fiscal year. We have an item later on tonight to kind of keep things moving along with the budget. That is all on track and ready to proceed. Along with all of that, I did want to take a moment to introduce Cole O'Donnell, who is our new finance director. He is on his first day today and has decided to come to the meeting. We'll actually be presenting on that topic a little later. So, introduce Cole and let him tell you all a little bit about himself. But if you have any quick questions for him, but he'll give a little Bible.
Well, start off with, I'm a native Iowa. My wife and I both grew up south of Ames. We went to Ballard and Huxley, and that's where we met. I've been in city management for 30 years. I have done budgets every one of those years. I have worked closely with the finances and bring hopefully a lot of experience to the city of Ottumwa to help move things forward. The biggest hurdle that I see is learning the current accounting system and then getting a new accounting system. I've never worked with PACE, but the bids that came in, one of them I know that is very user-friendly and can do some different work. But we do have interviews with two of them tomorrow. And presentations so that we can look at them. I am looking to move closer. I don't want to have to drive an hour and a half every day. I am looking for some transitional temporary housing. And as I mentioned at the staff meeting this morning, if I can't find something by April 1st, I understand there's a campground that I can put my travel trailer in and stay there for a while. So, but we are looking and looking to transition over this way.
Council have any questions for Cole?
You actively start work today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I went from the frying pan right into the fryer.
Good for you. We could use that.
It's called baptism by fire.
That's right. I will mention that this is like the second time in 3 weeks that I've kind of had to do that. I did some interim work for the city of Baxter. They had their city clerk and utility clerk leave at the same time. And I had to make sure with their budget, everything was looking good. Got to look at the new state form, so when the time comes for approval to set the meeting and everything, I have looked at the state forms, I understand them. And I learned their accounting system up there in basically 3 days. So I learned their AR, their AP, and payroll real quick. So one thing I didn't learn was the utility billing, and I left that to my replacement, who was doing some interim work. And so it's a system neither one of us worked for, but we mastered a lot of it in a very short time. So, anything else?
Do you have a family?
I have a family. None of them are in the house except for my wife, thank God, because we're ready to be empty nesters. I have one that is a freshman at the University of Iowa, one that's going to graduate from Iowa State, and then looking to go to law school, hopefully at Iowa. He has a girlfriend in the Quad Cities, and Iowa is real close there. My daughter is a 4th grade teacher in Moline, and our oldest works for Hy-Vee. And today was kind of busy as I'm trying to do everything here. I'm getting a million texts because my daughter's buying her first car and the oldest one is buying his first house. So,
Very good, thank you.
you're welcome.
Bill, have we connected him with Andy Ma? With Welcome to Connect?
Yes, I did, they sent an email, he sent an email back, I just have not had time.
Perfect, he's the person to connect for all things welcome for Ottumwa.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was all I had for this evening.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is where I normally ask if anyone in the audience would like to speak on any of tonight's agenda items on our city council agenda. And I don't have any slips of paper up here, so does anybody want to speak on any of our agenda items tonight? I'll also ask later in the meeting if anybody wants to speak on any non-agenda items, so if you do have something you want to bring up later, you'll have an opportunity to do that as well. Okay, the next thing is we'll move on. We do have one public hearing, so I'll turn it over to City Clerk Chris Reinhardt.
This is the time, place, and date set for a public hearing on the proposal to convey certain real property to Indian Hills Community College.
I'll go ahead and open the public hearing, and I believe Zach Simonson is going to handle this.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Indian Hills Community College submitted an application to purchase the property at 508 North Court. The city acquired this property when there was a derelict house that stood there. It had been converted to a multifamily and was in really poor condition. We did demolish that house, and now that property has been available for redevelopment. It's a large property. It actually includes two full buildable lots. One would be possibly facing North Court as that house did, or it could both face Terrace Court. And Indian Hills is looking to use it to build single-family housing as part of their building trades program. The purchase price would be $1. That's according to the policy that's been adopted for disposing of vacant lots.
We did. We could get 2 new homes built. Council have any questions for Zach?
I do have a question. It's not my knowledge that we have established a $1 for a lot price. Is that correct?
So the policy allows the schools, Indian Hills and the school district to purchase lots for $1 for their building trades programs. For other nonprofits, it would be half price, which would be for these lots, the short period of time we had another nonprofit could get them for $125, but then it'd be $250 for everyone else.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Since this is a public hearing, does anyone in the audience have any questions for Mr. Simonson? If not, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Resolution number 46, 2024, approving and authorizing the conveyance of certain real property located at 508 North Court to Indian Hills Community College for $1. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 46, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Ordinance number 3223, 2024, amending the municipal code of the city of Ottumwa, Iowa by amending section 3114A entitled Fees and Charges Costs. Recommendation pass the third consideration and adopt ordinance number 3223, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Phil, I believe you're gonna handle this.
Yeah, so this is, as was mentioned, the third consideration. It had been approved at both prior, which moved to this state. Just for a quick reference, this was language that would be expanding the use from the sewer improvement fund. So the initial usage would have only been for things at the plant. This would expand for anything within the sewer system. So it's not raising rates, but allowing for the ability to use those fees and charges for the expanded use.
City Council have any questions for Phil? If not, Chris will go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Ordinance number 3224, 2024, an ordinance permitting Class B master electricians to perform electrical work in the city of Ottumwa by repealing and replacing section 13-5 of the municipal code of the city of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa. Recommendation passed the first consideration of ordinance number 3224, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Zach?
All right, thank you, Mayor. The state of Iowa issues a Class B master electrician's license to any electrician that's worked in the electrical business before January 1st, 1998, and has a total of at least 1,600 hours of experience. So this is a group of electricians that gets smaller and smaller that's eligible for this license. Currently, the city code only allows electricians who have a Class A master license to pull permits to do work without supervision. This is more restrictive of a standard than most of the communities we've looked at. It's more restrictive than what is the case in rural Buffalo County, where the state electrical inspector has jurisdiction. They do permit Class B master electricians to do work. And we've also heard that, at least in the past, it may have been inconsistently enforced, that Class A standard. And so we want to just bring it down to a standard that is a little easier to enforce if the state feels that 16 hours of work before 1998 is appropriate as a substitution for the licensing process that involves the exam, then we think it's probably suitable. And it is going to be, as I said, a group of electricians that's going to continue to get smaller over time. And so I do think it's just going to be, it'll be cleaner for us and easier to enforce. And we do think it's a standard that's not going to hurt safety. It'll also allow folks to have a little more choice in being able to get electricians to do work.
Do you know, just for informational purposes, what's the difference between a Class A electrician and a Class B as far as what they can do?
Yeah, when they instituted the exam that's required to get the Class A master license, they carved out an exemption for electricians that had already been practicing the trade for a long time, and they're able to continue to carry a master license without taking that exam in the form of a Class B.
So they gave them credit for their years of experience.
Right.
So basically, it was 1,600 hours used to be the standard. Now they can take an exam to prove they have the experience of the.
And there's some things they have to do before they take the exam. They
Gotcha,
have to
gotcha.
do the journey time and things like that, but it hasn't changed.
So learning is the same. Right.
Does council have any questions for Zach? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Open letter from municipalities to the Environmental Protection Agency to urge finalization of the Erin pathway. Recommendation: authorize the mayor to sign the open letter prepared by Vespine Energy.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Zach, I think you're going to take this one too.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is a topic that the council is a little familiar with from Solid Waste Commission meetings, but hasn't been talked about at the council meeting yet. The Ottumwa-Wapello County Solid Waste Commission, which is responsible for the landfill, in which the council serves as part of, also alongside the county supervisors, is looking at an arrangement with Vespine Energy where they would lease property at the landfill, and they would also build out a natural gas or a methane gas capturing system at the landfill that would allow them to capture gas and use it to generate power. They would use it to generate power for a data center, but they also want to eventually be able to sell that power back to the grid. They would pay the city a royalty for that power that's produced, and we're in the final stages of putting a contract together for that. Something they're watching really closely and something that we're paying attention to as part of that program is that the value of that energy goes up significantly when they're allowed to sell that energy back to the grid. And so what they're looking at is EPA has been already authorized by Congress. They're supposed to be writing the rules for what's called the electric vehicle pathway within the renewable fuel standard. It would allow for power to be sold from methane production at small sites like ours, and it could power electric vehicles, but also power anything else that uses electricity. That would allow the value of the royalty that they would pay to us to go up significantly. It wouldn't just be what they can make off of the data center, it would be the actual value of electricity. So they think that it would be a significantly better arrangement for us if the EPA does finalize this rule quicker. And so they have written this open letter, and they're asking, or they're trying to recruit mayors from cities that are in a similar situation who would support that open letter. A copy of the letter is in the packet. It does describe sort of where EPA is with the ERIN pathway within the renewable fuel standard, and it does urge the EPA to finalize that rulemaking and to bring that online soon. Staff reviewing it, we do think that based on the timeline, if the value were to materialize faster from being able to sell the power to the grid, our royalty at the landfill will be much higher, and that'll help with sustaining the landfill's financial position. And so we do think that it would be good for the city to join that open letter.
Do they have, or will they have a method of containing methane?
Right, so we already are containing and monitoring and even flaring some of our methane, or releasing some of our methane, because we have to track that gas migration on our site. They might be able to use some of our existing infrastructure or their own, but they would capture that methane and they would use it on site in electrical generation power turbine.
Thank you.
When you say you want to eventually sell it back to the grid, are you talking Alliant Energy?
Yeah, I assume Alliant's responsible out there. I don't know for the city, I assume they are out
Yeah,
there.
okay. Any other questions for Zach from council? Sounds like it could be a good revenue stream in the future.
Right, and I think that it will be valuable regardless, and this is something that Congress has already set them on the path to doing. I think it's going to eventually come together, but the faster it can come together, the more valuable that royalty is going to be for us. Something around, looking at kind of their rough numbers, at least 30, maybe 40, 50% greater value.
And we used to just flame it off years ago.
Right,
Just light it on fire and let it go.
right.
Any other questions for Zach? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Historic Preservation Certified Local Government Annual Report. Recommendation, accept Certified Local Government Annual Report.
Is there a motion to approve the
Move
recommendation?
the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Zach?
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Ottumwa's Historic Preservation Commission is part of the Certified Local Government Program, which is a Department of the Interior program and a State Historic Preservation Office program that allows cities that participate to have access to some resources from the State Historic Preservation Office. That includes the ability to apply for CLG grants and also receive some technical assistance when we need help. As part of that, we do have to submit an annual report, and every year we brought that report to the council to give its stamp of approval to. This year's report was included in the packet. I'd say the most significant thing that we've done in the last year is finally start on what has been a goal for a while, which is completing a historic preservation plan. We received some funding assistance from the Legacy Foundation's Bright Ideas Grant Committee, and also an investment from the capital bond that was done on the last round that's going to finance that. We're in the middle of doing it. The highlight there is that we do have a public workshop and open house for the plan on Thursday at Hotel Ottumwa. That's at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be some light refreshments at that. We really would love to have as many folks as could be there to provide their input on the direction of historic preservation. Also, we usually do have the chair give a update on what the commission's been doing. However, we recently had a leadership change. The new chair is Molly Nauman, and she has the unfortunate luck of being in Hawaii for several months, or at least several weeks, I think a couple of months. So she's not here, but she's really enthusiastic about the direction with the plan, and I think it's going to be good to have that done. It's going to include a work plan. It's going to give them quite a few more new ideas for things that they can do.
And assume we'll send her aloha.
Absolutely.
Okay. just
And
check.
when do they hope to have the new historic preservation strategic plan done?
The timeline is April or maybe early May. May is Historic Preservation Month, so it might be good to go ahead and bring it to the council for final approval in May. But that's where we are in the timeline. We're pretty well on schedule.
Council have any other questions for Zach?
Zach, when was that meeting?
That's this Thursday, March 7th at Hotel Ottumwa, 6 p.m. It's in the ballroom upstairs.
So get as many people as you can come, because they really want to get community input on historic preservation and where Ottumwa wants to go with historic preservation in the future. Any other comments or questions for Zach?
Is this on the website so people can see it there?
I know we've been sharing it regularly on Facebook. I don't know if there's anything directly on the website for it. I can check and see if there's anything we can do. We also did send about 300 letters to everyone who's a resident in a historic district or owns property in a historic district. just trying to get that attendance to go up.
I think it's been shared all over Facebook. Travis has shared it all over Facebook and social media too.
Any other questions for Zach? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Resolution number 59, 2024, setting April 2nd, 2024 at 5:30 PM for a public hearing on the fiscal year 25 proposed property tax levy. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 59, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Phil, I believe you're gonna take this. Oh, Cole.
Said he's ready for the fryer.
All right.
Yeah, as I said, I'd been up in Baxter, so I actually did their public hearings that forum. So I have been familiarized with the new max, it takes place in the max levy hearing. This has to be a separate meeting from a council meeting, it has to be standalone. It has to be with a difference of at least 15 minutes between that meeting and the regular meeting. It shows the new consolidated levy and also will show the amount of property tax in the current year and the property tax for the proposed year, and what the on $100,000 worth of valuation for both household and commercial. The commercial is a little misleading because once you get above 150,000, they don't have the rollback rate. So I'm hoping the state will at some point correct that just a little bit so that commercial businesses understand exactly what their difference is going to be from year to year.
So I do have a question. So just to confirm, so this will be like on April 2nd, a separate meeting, and then we'll kind of like Board of Health. So it'll be a meeting and then we have our regular meeting?
You can, but you have to have 15 minutes between the start time of this meeting and the start time of the city council.
Okay.
So we get to take a break.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it has to be posted that way. So my recommendation would be is that the next regular meeting actually be scheduled to start at 6 o'clock to give you that time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Cole?
No, this is his first day though, so I would say I appreciate you jumping up, taking initiative like that. I
awesome,
mean,
yeah.
you've only been here a few hours, you're already jumping up, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That would happen to you and you became council member. Okay, if there's no other questions, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Thank you, Cole.
Resolution number 60, 2024, awarding the contract for the sanitary sewer spot repair project to Central Iowa Televising doing business as CIT Sewer Solutions of McAllisburg, Iowa, in the amount of $39,196. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 60, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Mr. Bergmeyer.
Thank you, Mayor. This project is to repair open joints and failed pipe in the sanitary sewer system located at various locations within the city of Ottumwa. The work consists of all the equipment, labor, and material necessary to perform trenches repairs at this location. Plans were posted on the city's website. They were submitted to Master Builders of Iowa, their construction update plan service. They were available for pick with the engineering office as hard copies as well. We also published an announcement in the paper. We had 5 contractors pull bids for this. One bid was, pull plans for this. One bid was received, which was CIT Sewer Solutions in McAllisburg, Iowa, the amount of $39,196. We did call some of the contractors back, asked them, what was going on, why they didn't bid. One said they couldn't do the 18-inch line, it was too big for them. And the other one, after we sent them video of one of the lines, I&I, he said they didn't want to try it. So this was the only one that was willing to give it a shot.
Are we
But
familiar with this company?
Yes, they did work for us on the west end. They lined I believe it was a 24-inch line under flow where it crossed. We had a sanitary sewer cross underneath a storm sewer, and it had settled and was leaking, and they lined that underflow and did a real good job. I was really impressed with their customer service.
That's about standard procedure for Ottumwa underground.
Yeah.
One across from another one.
Yep.
Is this sanitary sewer spot repair project done annually? Is it kind of like that similar thing that you do for the annual asphalt repair project?
No, it's not. It's actually in the budget, but it hasn't been funded for years.
Oh,
In
really?
FY '25, I did ask for $50,000 to do this as an annual project, because there's a lot of deeper sewers or sewers underneath streets that this repair method would be really good, a really good option. So rather than trying to piece together one at a time, it'd be nice to do this every year and save our guys some headaches trying to fix this stuff open cut.
Sounds like a good plan.
Agreed.
Council have any other questions for Philip? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Resolution number 65, 2024, approving amendment to agreement between the City of Ottumwa and Shy Pattery to add construction services for the Albia Road Quincy Avenue Roundabout project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 65, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Philip?
Thank you, Mayor. So the city of Ottumwa entered into an agreement with Shy Pattery in August of 2022 for the Albia Quincy Roundabout design. That agreement was done as of the beginning of bidding. What this amendment will do is add construction services to that contract. It does include full-time inspection and observation, as well as administrative duties related to pay estimates, submittal approvals, and project closeout. The reason we're doing this is we just don't have enough staff right now to staff every project we have going on. Like I said, in the staff survey, we've advertised 4 times in the last year and a half for engineering aides or engineering assistants, and we're still one short. I have one of the engineering assistants now intends to retire in June. So we're advertising for his replacement right now, but there's a chance we'd be too short by June, and we just don't have enough staff to cover every project we have going on this summer. So I figured with this being a little bit unique, as opposed to like Milner Street or Elm Street or Fellows, where they're just regular streets or green streets gotta finish up as well. Rather than taking that and subbing that out, I figured we'd do the roundabout. That way it's kind of a unique project. The guys can come by if they have time and see what's going on, but they won't be learning something new. They'll probably never have to learn again. So if my one inspector does retire, I have 2 guys with less than a year's worth of experience, and then one guy's been here for about 5 years. So those guys that are been here for 1 year, I'd like my guy who's been here for 25 years to be able to bounce around between their jobs and help them learn, so they can have a little assistance there.
Are these engineering aides and assistants just hard to hire, or are we still not competitive with wages to attract them, or what do you think's the problem?
A little bit of both. So we've had 3 leave in the last several years, or sorry, 4 leave. 3 of them are for more pay. One of them just, there's a lot of interaction with the public that's kind of difficult for some people. They don't like it. So that can be difficult for some people as well. But it's a little bit of both, the type of work and then the pay as well.
Is this a civil service requirement?
It's a civil service position, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Philip? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Resolution number 66, 2024, approving change order number 1 for the Legacy Field Soccer Complex project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 66, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Gene?
Thank you, Your Honor. On December 19th, 2023, the City of Ottumwa entered into a contract with Bi-State Contracting of West Burlington, Iowa, to build 3 soccer fields in Central Addition Park for a cost of $3,048,138. Change order number 1 will reduce the cost of the project by $220,313.42 for a new contract amount of $2,827,824.60. The change order is attached. The change order will eliminate the concrete parking lot and replace it with a gravel parking lot. This will be a 2-year project that should be finished by the fall of 2025.
Does council have any questions for Gene?
Who suggested to remove the concrete and go to gravel?
This was done at the request of the Legacy Foundation so that the project would fit within their annual budget guidelines. And it was also decided to spread it out over a 2-year time period rather than do it all in 1 year for the same reason.
So the gravel's gonna stay, just because there's 2 years in the project? Or will it go away and concrete come into place of?
The gravel will stay for the short term, however, it could be replaced by a concrete parking lot eventually once there's more funding available.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a comment, Gene. I think it's really nice of the Legacy Foundation to fund that whole project. A lot of times people don't understand in big projects like that they don't have to. That's pretty huge in this.
Yes, and they've also provided excellent guidance and leadership on this project in addition to the funding.
Any other questions from council for Gene? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Thanks, Gene.
Resolution number 67, 2024, approving professional services agreement between the City of Ottumwa and HDR Incorporated for the WPCF Primary Clarifier Repair Project and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 67, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay. It's not Mr. Bergmeyer. It's Mr. Lloyd, okay.
I'd like to keep you on your toes.
Take it away, John.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this agreement will provide professional services for the design of the water pollution control facility primary clarifier repair project. And HDR Engineering, the designated plant engineer for the WPCF, will provide the following services: preparation and construction documents, bidding administration, and construction administration, as described in the agreement, and not to exceed $114,200. And that has been budgeted for and would be covered.
Council have any questions for John?
Is the expected repair to last a while?
We are hoping, part of it is for coatings, coating the concrete walls. So right now they're bare concrete walls, so hopefully the coating would help add that layer of protection.
Yeah, so what it's gonna do, it's either gonna be like gunite, which is shotcrete, which you put on your, if you have an underground pool, they put shotcrete on there, or an epoxy coating, is to protect the structural concrete from the fluid and the sewage in the primary clarifiers.
Good, sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, I went to that, you're probably close to 10 million, just as a guess.
To replace the whole thing?
Yeah, if you replace the
10
whole
million
thing.
around.
It's getting pretty old, so it's at 70 years old, so.
Right.
Concrete does have a life, so,
Yep.
yeah.
People
sooner or
don't think
later.
that it does, but it does. Look at your streets.
That was a nasty comment.
Okay, council doesn't have any other questions for John, and Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Resolution number 68, 2024, approving the design contract between the City of Ottumwa and Willett Hoffman and Associates Incorporated for the Depot Building AC project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 68, 2024.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Bergmeyer?
Thank you, Mayor. So, how many of you know, the depot building that City Hall moved into, it does not have air conditioning in it. It's not insulated either, it's just concrete brick walls.
Some of us are very aware of that.
Yeah, so what this will do is, this will give a schematic level design. It's not gonna be a complete design, but it'll give a schematic level design telling a contractor, you know, what size refrigeration units do we need, what the zones are gonna be, kind of a schematic level idea of where they need to run the fresh air ducts to. And then it'll also like give the electrical routes and the natural gas routes to move or to connect up to the rooftop units. And then there's within the scope, there's also a structural assessment to make sure the roof can handle the load. And then once we get this schematic level design, we can go out for bid and give it to contractors to bid. I guess one thing, if you read it close, you'll see there's natural gas lines going up to the roof. There is a heating system in the depot, but it doesn't provide fresh air. And the intention was to maybe rent this out as commercial space in the future. And commercial space requires fresh air year round. So the heating would just provide like warm, fresh air in the winter time for whoever the tenants happen to be, if we rent that afterwards. And for the city while we're there too. So, and the lump sum on the contract is estimated at $29,500.
How will this be paid?
The CIP that we took from, correct me if I'm wrong, City Administrator, but the CIP money that we had left over, we rolled into a fund to help make improvements to the depot. I believe there was $220,000 in there. $250.
Great, thank
So
you.
$220 left after this.
So this is gonna be a regular rooftop design, it's not gonna be mini splits?
I believe the most cost-effective design by far is rooftop.
Yes, right. Cause I heard at one time they were maybe looking at doing mini splits instead.
Yeah, I think that was more convenient, but not as
Cost
efficient
effective.
and cost-effective.
Okay.
So has anybody looked at the roof to know whether it could handle the load or not?
I already sent the structural drawings of the load to the engineer, so once we pass this, they'll take a look at that and make sure that it can. And if it has to go in certain areas, we'll be able to tell the contractor, you know, you have to put it here or here or here. So
Okay, thank you.
It's a very structurally sound building.
it
So
looks
hopefully
like it.
it's not gonna be problematic, but you gotta check it out.
So Mayor, I have learned that concrete doesn't last. There's a time frame on it.
But the structural assessment of the roof is part of what is being paid for here.
Yeah, it's part of that 2095.
Perfect.
It should be enough information, so there should be enough information from this to give to a contractor, they can build it.
Any other questions, comments from council for Phil?
I'm glad that we're looking forward to possibly renting or maybe selling the building, but at least renting it to somebody else so that we're giving them something they can use.
Right. Yep.
Bringing income in for us.
Right.
Okay, if there's no other questions, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. This is the point in our city council meeting where I ask if anybody would like to speak on any other items that are not on our agenda tonight. Would anybody like to bring up anything that's not on our agenda? Okay, if not, we'll move on to mayor, city council reports or communications to the public. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up? I'm glad Zach went ahead and mentioned the community forum at Hotel Ottumwa Thursday for historic preservation, because I was going to mention that, so I'm glad he brought that up. Is there any other communications from
Yes,
council?
Your Honor, I'd just like to comment. Today I had the privilege of going through our museum out on the highway, and that's the first time I had been in it. And I'm telling you, it's fabulous.
It's very impressive.
It's unbelievable. And the young lady that is the manager out there is equally unbelievable. She handles everything very well. And we had an opportunity, even though it was closed, we had a meeting out there, and she gave us the opportunity to walk through the museum and see what's going on and see their wiki up. It's an interesting thing to see. And we talked about children being allowed to come into the premises and with their, I think she said, started with kindergarten, with their instructor or parents, whichever. And she also said that the school system pays for their going through the museum, which is important. We can't charge those little kids big bucks. They're our future. They need to see where our history is. So I was very impressed. Anyway, just wanted to comment on that.
We're very fortunate to have Aaron Naylor who is the museum director, and I agree with Keith, she's done a fantastic job. And she also has a side business where she reconditions and restores historical documents, which is kind of a very unique business. And I think she's one of a few people in the United States that even does that. So, that's another skill set that she has, which really makes Ottumwa very unique to have somebody here that can preserve and recondition historical documents. So, any other communications?
I just wanted to say we had our first youth council meeting yesterday, and dates have been set for the first and third Mondays of the month from 3:30 to 4:30 at the Depot Conference Room.
And those meetings will be open to the public.
And what meetings are those again?
The youth city council.
Oh, you said,
Yes.
right, gotcha.
And thanks for bringing that up.
Mhm.
Any other communications?
I would like to add about the youth council meetings, if anybody's watching or listening, maybe go
Bill
to a
talking to a
meeting,
microphone.
maybe go to a meeting or two and show them we support them. Listen to their new ideas and what they're doing, because it's a fantastic program, so I would just urge people to go to a meeting or two.
Your daughter's one of those 7 young high school students, so they're a pretty awesome group. Any department heads have anything you want to say or bring up? Now's your chance. We're running good on time tonight, so if anybody wants to talk.
I will say one thing for Chad, I'm taking the Citizens Police Academy, anybody familiar with that? And Chad and his crew are doing a fantastic job, I'm enjoying every second of it. If you ever get a chance to do that, I think it's once a year, isn't it, Chad, once a year? I would jump on that, like I said, it's a fantastic program, Chad and his staff are doing, Chief Barrington and his staff are doing a fantastic job, and I enjoy every minute of it, so I just wanted to call that out and appreciate what you're doing for the public. My
Was your
eyes
class
were
full?
opened already, let's say that.
Was your class full this year?
Yes, it was.
Always is.
I was extra.
You were.
We squeezed.
I attended last year. It was very eye-opening to me.
Okay, sorry, I just got one more thing. I saw Scott in here too, and I just wanted to say, thank you to Bridgeview for hosting that phenomenal Family Fest this weekend. There were a lot of kids out there, a lot of community support, and it was a good time.
Did you want to talk about the Women's Lead-In Conference?
No,
Okay.
I don't know anything
I
about it.
thought you'd bring it up. Anybody else? Going once, twice?
I guess if you want to, the GoPIP is sponsoring the lead-in conference this Friday, so I think, yes, if somebody's looking for something to do, it is open to women and men to support women in leadership. A lot of good educational opportunities, keynote speakers, et cetera, so it'll be held here. I believe it starts at 8:30 or 9.
There's a fee to attend. There's a fee to attend.
Yes, there is a fee to attend that, it is not free, but
That'll be a good
it signs up.
Yes. Good time.
All right. If there is nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn our city council meeting.
Move to adjourn, Your Honor.
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yep.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh?
Yes.
We are adjourned, and thank you everybody for coming to our city council meeting tonight. It's kind of nice once in a while to have a shorter one.